Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the last voyage of the Whale's Whiskers. For those of you first time joining our channel, we do run it 100% for charity. If you would like to donate to our charity, Satchel's Last Resort, you can click on the donate button down below. All the donations go directly to them, and they are tax write-offable. They can give you receipts and all that type of stuff, so please do support them. They are a wonderful animal rescue organization here in Florida, and in fact where I got my dog Lunar. Bird is going to be joining us a little bit later. He's fighting some furnace issues up in Missouri, so hopefully he'll be able to join us a little bit later. But until he gets here, let's go around and meet the rest of the cast, starting off with Kuma.
Hi, hello, yes, I am Kuma. I play Kato, our brass dragon, or dragonborn life cleric. Words are hard today.
Next up, all the way 2 in the morning, all the way from South Africa, we have Grant.
I was gonna say good evening, everybody, but yeah, good morning. It's nice and early here. And yeah, I play Halron, our drow druid.
Next up, we have Ace.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm Ace. I play Duron. The definitely not BBEG of this campaign.
We'll see. Next up, we have Meta.
Hi, everyone. I'm Metazoa. I'm going to be playing as Queta, our dwarf Eldritch Knight fighter. We're 8 sessions in, and I still can't say that smoothly.
And last but not least, we have Saul.
Hey everybody, I'm Sol. I am playing Otrek, our lizard folk artificer. I am also not the BBEG, but I don't know that anyone is right now, so I think we're all safe. This is going to be a fine episode. Nothing bad's going to happen.
I am Tall Squall. I am, in fact, the BBEG of this campaign, and am ready to bring it to our crew this time. We are going to pick up after last session. The party spent a little bit over 2 weeks at sea after encountering our good friend Duron's patron, a primordial dragon, the likes of which they had never seen, of a scale and size and power that would have been unthinkable until they encountered them. This bronze dragon up from the depths. I'm singing the Godzilla cartoon song in my head now. But came up from the depths, and after a very tense encounter, some great rolls, some great role playing, sent them off to go retrieve a part of their horde, a sky shard that, in fact, the crew was already hoping to retrieve for themselves, but now, due to some negotiation and by taking a hostage, find themselves working for Shimandala, this patron-level primordial dragon of the Cerulean Sea. The aftermath of that was tense, straining somewhat on the crew and relationship, but after 15 or 16 days of sailing southward towards this pull that Duron was feeling upon himself and his talisman that marks him as one of Shimandala's warlocks, they have, early in the morning, right before sunrise, arrived at this corrupted reef where Shimandala has guided them to go and recover this sky shard that seems to be most precious and dear, and that he definitely wants back. Over this time, Kuma has been in contact through the dream spell with her cabin boy who was taken hostage, Fitz, who sort of goes into a little bit of a fugue state when he gets nervous or scared, and was how they discovered that he has a photographic memory for the things that he reads, and he calls it reading in his mind. And after 15 nights of sitting up late into the night, just sitting there next to Fitz as he was unresponsive even in his dreams. Right before dawn, on this day as they arrived, seeing just the shadows and silhouettes of dragonbone and skull of these green primordial progeny of the verdant shadow, another primordial dragon, creating the bones of this reef. Fitz looked to Kuma, looked to Kato, looked to Kato for the first time, and with these words, where we left off. Sir? I think Shimandala is sick. Right as he says those words, what does Kato do?
Sick? What do you mean?
And with that response, you see Fitz almost startle, and even how you've probably experienced yourself, you almost startle yourself awake within a dream, and he disappears, as this is the first time he was aware of your presence. Back up on deck, Halran and Baldir, early in the night, you see these silhouettes of these bones that tower up out of the surf. First, just very tips of them, small little protrusions underneath the water, but as the ship sails ever southward, starting to loom larger and larger, and the sun rises, turning the sky to that beautiful orange that everyone so enjoyed when it reflected off of Jin Surat and their brass scales. But this time it reveals the horror of what lays ahead. As I had mentioned last time, Halran being a druid and one with nature, decay is a part of life. It is a part of the natural cycle. Even poison and venoms have their place in the natural order, but every part about this feels wrong, aberrant in its nature, twisted from what it should be. You can tell there was a huge battle here. Dozens of skeletons of dragons of monumental size, not as big as Shimandala or Jin Surat, but larger than most you would have ever experienced, even in your travels, lay scattered across what's almost like an atoll that lies ahead of you. A circular reef with some clearing at the middle. There is spines and ribs, some still held together by some unnatural means of sinew and tendon that doesn't seem to have decayed or rotted away as most of soft tissue should, holding these incredible dragons and their skeletons sort of frozen in their death throes, twisting, writhing, backs broken, bones scattered. You see off in the distance with your elven eyes, and certainly as being the navigator, a spyglass if you pull it out or rely on whatever means you would want. Even your adaptations that you have done, being in bird form, giving you that extra sharp vision. You can see that this atoll sort of nestles up to the shore and the land that lies ahead, creeping across what would have probably been a beach, even though rocky in some forms, but creeping across this beach and shoreline, and even now sort of hanging in tendrils off the trees that lie beyond. Over to your west, you do see the outlet of a huge river, the one that you see on your map that had been somewhat laid out as a major landmark on this journey. And knowing the scale of this map, I mean, this is, Mississippi, Nile, Amazon level of river as it flows out into here, into the Cerulean Sea. You do see that the corruption doesn't seem to have crossed over that outflow of fresh water. And the spit of land beyond doesn't seem to have been taken over, but you can sort of see that flow is carrying this corruption out and sort of eddies back around and swirls out here around the ship. From above, you hear one of the crew members scream out, "Land ho!" It sort of echoes across. Baldir sort of looks on in stunned silence. The rest of the party down below, whether awake already, certainly the call, and even a bit of a mental bosun's whistle in your head from Ali, your first officer, would awaken you. For Cato, having spent these nights up for 2 weeks, you did eventually get yourself into sort of that routine, that schedule. So you aren't entering this day with exhaustion, as you've been able to train yourself, and with help from Queda and their darkness spell. Each morning, you aren't entering the day with exhaustion, but for all intents and purposes, you've already been up for 6 hours. So this is all but midday for you, if not a little bit beyond. And you'll be entering this day as it drags on, potentially having exhaustion catch up with you. So that's where we are. Biriana, focused, silent at the wheel as she has been for almost 2 weeks, sense of purpose locked in her face. What's the rest of the party up to?
I would like to go visit Duran. So Cato is going to walk down the hall and find himself in front of Duran's room, where he is assuming Duran would be, since normal people have been, sleeping, hopefully. And Cato will knock.
Yeah. The door just kind of opens by itself. Duran's in his hammock, kind of just lounging.
Duran, I wish to speak with you a moment, if that is all right.
Okay.
First, another thank you for the dream spell.
You don't need to thank me.
Second, Fitz finally acknowledged my presence, or was aware that I was there. and spoke. And over the past 2 weeks, I was hoping we'd have something a little more heartening to speak of, but the only words he was able to convey to me was that Shimandala might be sick. That he thinks the Primordial is sick. But before I could inquire, he jolted himself awake. I didn't wish to hold on to this information for hopes that we might be able to, I don't know, perhaps have something to do about it, or maybe with the connection you two have, perhaps.
Duron will kind of like shift in his hammock and just sort of like slide off, and then walked over to him and put his like claw on his Kato's shoulder and say, I don't think we can do anything about it now, but I appreciate you telling me. One more problem to add to our adventure.
Kato will take his hand and kind of put it on Duron's for a moment. Just kind of a gentle pat. Yes, but as more problems arise, this is the perfect time to remind you that we are a crew, and none of us are doing this alone.
Thank you for telling me again, and for the reminder.
Of course.
I think we're needed above deck.
Noted. And Kato will turn and start to head above deck.
So, how about Queda and Otrek? How is your morning finding you?
Well, I would definitely be still working on that staff.
Roll me an Arcana check.
Okay. Wish me luck.
Ooh, on a 30.
Okay, I don't even see my roll.
It's a 30. It popped up over on my side.
That's as long as it's working on your side.
Yeah.
I'm having a day.
So on a 30, what specifically are you trying to accomplish with this piece of work?
Well, if I'm reading the subtext here, that sky shard is what we're going to need to get out of here, right?
That is so far the assumption that everyone has made. And
okay. That fulgurite that we have is a conduit is a channel of energy, but it needs some sort of way to cage it or conduct it, correct?
That is what you've been able to glean from the Anzu and your own research, yes.
And I've got a couple of pieces of ore that seem to have very strong elemental magic relating to, it seems like, storms and that sort of thing.
Very much so. Lightning, thunder, wind, specifically.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking for a way to utilize the materials I have at hand, including my inventoried approximate amount of arcane miscellany that I set aside for making stuff.
We discussed that you have a allowance.
I want to make sure
that
there's a way that.
Place.
I mean, if I gotta, I gotta.
It's like, I feel like I'm 12 going to GameStop.
Right? You're just gonna get like 6 copies of Madden.
Yeah.
But no, I worked for GameStop for a while. No, I wanna find a way to utilize all those parts together to make a connection with that sky shard remotely. Maybe not at a long distance, but within line of sight. Basically, I want us to be able to utilize the staff in some way without necessarily having the sky shard in our hands at the moment.
Okay. On a 30, I will say that you've made some progress with binding these ores back into the fulgurite that they had once been embedded in. When you sort of destroyed that sculptural sort of lightning tree, it fell into pieces. And so you're starting to sort of make this twining structure around the staff you'd already been working on for almost a year for Viriana.
Mm-hmm.
And basically upgrading that cage. Lightning, thunder, wind, sort of channeling through the fulgurite, beginning to capture that power. It's not done yet, but you've made a good bit of progress of creating an energy cage bonded to this staff, which in turn was built to be incorporated into that arcane engine at the back of the ship.
And thinking about it, there may be something we can do as well, kind of locally. We do have a fragment to proof with, so to speak. And above table, I want to give credit to Ace. He did throw me a line there. Thanks, buddy.
No, absolutely. The same type of energy, just on a much smaller scale. I mean, it's kind of like a 9-volt battery compared to a nuclear reactor, but
But yeah, I'll as I get closer and closer to it being anywhere near finished, I'll definitely. Well, probably not now because it's still in the nascency. I don't want to burn up his shard, but that's definitely on the agenda.
Yes, please don't burn up the shard of the power that connects me to my patron.
So, that's what's going on with Otrek. You do hear the whistle, sort of, and kind of come to at as much of a stopping point as Otrek ever gets to the summons upon deck. Queda, how you doing?
So as has been kind of her schedule for the past few weeks, she may have Queda may have been looking around for some like preliminary maintenance work she would have had to do to the structure of the boat before going to visit Kato in his room around the time that he would have gotten out of his trance to help him get to sleep. At this point, I'm imagining that he would not be there because he would have gone to see Duran. Would she be able to like easily like pass by them?
Sure. I mean, you could meet them in the hall. That's fine.
So she would probably be trying to like, if she heard them talking about something kind of discreet, she would be like maybe like hiding to just like listen in a little bit.
Yeah, that not a lot of places to hide in a narrow ship's corridor, but certainly you can be sort of 3-4 steps behind, following along, making yourself innocuous, as Queda has done for most of her life.
Do I need to roll like stealth for that, or?
Sure. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Yeah, because she would be trying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she would be trying to be like listening in, but like very like light-footed, so just to like not like bring attention to herself. so as to like not
Yeah.
be there, sort of. Okay. It's a 19.
I believe that's above both of their passive perceptions. So you're
My mighty passive perception is not enough quite to
not quite
overcome
enough
that with a 10.
with a 10. Yeah. So yeah, you're able to follow along and roll me a perception check to see how much of their conversation you pick up on.
Oh, this is the part I probably am not going to do great on.
19
Okay,
on
never
perception.
mind.
I'm not sure if you caught the they spoke about what Fitz had said while in Duran's room. So I think at this point it's more it might be the tail end of the conversation of don't have to do this alone, or I'll turn to Cato and Duran. What would you be talking about sort of in the hallway heading above deck? Or
So, I hear the weather during the day has been well.
Very favorable. I wonder if Hauron is the reason for that, or maybe Baldir.
I don't have much else. I already did the weather.
so you don't glean a whole lot, unfortunately, Queta, as you're heading up. But the biggest thing, all of you, as you head on deck, Halran having sort of almost been the frog in the boiling water, it's well noticed. In fact, at the end of the last episode, you become nose blind. The four of you step on deck and are just assaulted with this smell of corruption and rot. It is this sort of sickening mixture of like cheap baby powder mixed together with like dead possum. I mean, it's just this cloyingly weird mixture of like sweet and decay and overripe produce, things like that, and it is just nauseating. In fact, I need all of y'all to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
I was gonna say, if this is to puke, Kato was gonna do this anyway.
Yeah. You always can opt to fail a any save. Oh, and you did real well on your dice did real well for you.
The dice helped me tell a story.
Yeah.
15.
Okay. I would say very much as expected, Cato it is awful. Queta, interestingly, you've smelled worse. Halran, as we said, you got used to it. Otrek, were you able to get a roll in, or if you need to roll manually, that's fine as well?
We'll just go ahead and fail that one. Okay. I'm doing a few things background-wise, trying to fix this problem.
No worries. But... Yeah, whether you can tell me in character whether or not, I mean, let's face it, marine iguanas aren't too picky of eaters. So I think it's up to you, even with failing it, whether or not you actually have a physical reaction. But let's tune in on Cato.
Oh, does he like vomit all over me?
No, not this
I'm,
time.
Right
You're
next
safe.
to him?
No, not this time. No, Cato will, as soon as he steps up on deck and then the smell hits him, he just scrabbles with clear abandon to try and get to the edge where the smell is worse, but that's kind of the closest option he has to do the deed, because this is awful.
Yeah. You make it over to the side and just heave ho with whatever might have been in your stomach from whatever, your day started 6 hours ago. So whether you had some tea and toast or something when you first woke up before going into your dream trance.
Not anymore.
The big thing as you lean over the rail, and as often will happen, when not feeling well, your perception seems to heighten on things that are disturbing or unsettling. And you look over and you can sort of see a mound of this coral, this corrupted structure that sort of has loomed out, just barely cresting the surface. And as you look down over it, you can see there's almost like spines that are growing out of this mound of coral. Not like anemone spines that are sort of conical. These are like bladed spines. They have a very sharpened edge to them. And as you look down, you see what must have been some type of marine mammal, a seal, something along those lines. Not huge, but of enough size to be unsettling, sort of wash across this. And as it slides across these blades, you see it just get sliced to ribbons. And then as the waves come back the other direction, and within 3 or 4 passes of waves coming off the bow of the ship is basically turned into a slurry of just chum and viscera and awfulness down below. Let's get Bird on here. And 1 second, let's get people in the right spots. And let's see. Bird goes right there. Take your time, Bird. We'll come back and introduce you. Basically, we're watching a Kato vomit over the edge. And as you look down, this once was sort of a corpse of an animal, just almost like a blender, gets turned into this slurry by the action of the waves across these sort of bladed spines. And as you look down, you can see sort of on the surface below these spines, sort of in these little shells, these teethed mouths just sort of start opening all over it, hundreds of them just pulsing with the waves, little teethy maws reaching out, almost like out of the alien little thing, reaching out and taking these bites of flesh and pulling them into the reef.
Kato's seen some stuff in the creature kingdom. He understands everything about the circle of life. He understands that, but this doesn't seem like anything that should be. All of this seems like stuff that should not be. So it's a lot less natural for him. So as he sees this, as his stomach is now empty, he's gonna scramble back, and if somebody wants to catch him, perfect. If not, he is gonna fall down on the deck and just shakily point with a claw.
I was gonna say that I would probably Duran would probably be next to him, because I was gonna cast Prestidigitations to try and like reduce the funk in the air a little bit.
Well, it would be definitely appreciated, because Kato is definitely both grossed out and now freaked out as he points at this murky chum water. There is a lot down there that should not do that.
As Kato points this out to the rest of you who haven't taken a good look, Halron's already been up there, so you can do this at advantage. You can roll me everyone can roll me a perception check to sort of see what they pick up on. Again, between Halron and Duran, or certainly Biriana, who seems to have turned the wheel over. There's a couple of spyglasses to go around, so you can both focus on things closer up or further away, and you can let me know sort of where you want to take a look around this sort of malevolent seascape in front of you.
I got a 14 looking at whatever Kato is pointing at.
Okay.
I got a 21 looking maybe past that having been on deck, I would have had more time to take in
Okay.
all the little horrific stuff. So Howron's looking at the bigger picture.
Otrek, on an 18, any specific focus that you're having?
I'm a marine reptile. I've got a strong stomach and a good con save. I probably want to retch because of how unnatural the rot is. So I'm going to be looking for anything unusual that I can see that, I don't know, with my background with the Verdant Shadow, I'm looking for some nasties that I might have seen in those swamps.
Okay. So let's start with Hallran on the big picture. Quaid, were you able to get one out? The 13. Any specific place you're focusing?
I did get a 13. I was kind of wondering if the first thing she would have been hit by is the scent. I assume it would have been unusual. So I actually figured that she would be thinking of looking around for anything that's been dead or rotting for a certain amount of time, or how recent it was.
Gotcha. Baldir, you want to, if you can roll me a perception check as well. Certainly, you've been working with the wind, so to try to find maybe a path through this, to help navigate. We'll use that.
I'd be focusing on whatever is further out and about. Yeah, less on the immediate grisliness and more on the steps ahead, kind of like Howron mentioned.
Yep. So let's start with Halron. The biggest thing that you notice, you've saw and taken in some of this as the sun has risen. You look out and see, as you get closer, further ahead of you, you aren't fully sort of embraced by this atoll yet. It still lies a good half-mile ahead of you, maybe a quarter mile. Again, there's just some little outcroppings here and there that you all are passing by. But as you look ahead, you can see that there are what's close by here. It might be dagger size, maybe a short sword sized, these bladed spines. As you look off in the distance, you can see that these get progressively larger as they go towards the center of the atoll, sort of the main portion of it, progressing to long swords, great swords, lances, 10 feet long, 15 feet high. And as you look with your high perception roll, you sort of are following a bird that is flying above, sort of an albatross that is gliding, and an errant breeze sort of knocks it against one of these very tall sort of lances into the sky. And you realize it's slow, almost like it would be the motion of the sea. You notice these long blades are moving, sort of at a slow speed, but are moving, sort of crossing over each other. You see two sort of cross almost like scissors in the air. And as you watch that bird fly, sort of gliding away, it just sort of got nicked. It goes for only for about 200, 300 feet. And you see it sort of list to one side, and you see this bloom of spines growing out of it as it falls down into the reef, impaling itself on the spines below. Otrek, marine mammal. The motion as a predatory animal catches your eye of that bird falling, impaling itself about halfway up about a 3 or 4 foot tall spine. And that's when you notice down between the spines, you see these mouths in some places, but around the base of this spine there is sort of a thick gelatinous ooze. And as that bird sort of slides down this spine, reaches up with these pseudopods to engulf it and pull it down into itself. On your high, Roland, your focus on things that you had seen before, you realize that these are not, in fact, dragons. They are drakes.
Okay.
Something the Verdant Shadow was experimenting with. Not four-legged, but basically their arms are their wings. That these would be Primordial Drakes. Something there were whispers of back in the Dracovalorian jungle. Sorry,
Great.
yes, wyverns. Wrong way. Wrong one. Wyverns. Thank you for the correction. Yes.
Great.
Queda. On a 13, trying to get an idea of time. It's wrong. There's places that look like these are bleached skeletons that could have been here for 100 years, but then there's soft tissues and other pieces that, if they were that old, should have been gone within the first 5 years, certainly a decade. Even at this massive scale of these drakes, the fact that there is still soft tissue and tendon and sinew and in some places scale and even flesh is very unnerving, as the natural forces of decomposition don't seem to be at work here. Baldir, your focus, even on all this horror around you, is on your duty, the ship, pushing this wind as you've pushed it for the last weeks, through the night, through the day. On a 22, you do see just a little bit over to the east what seems to be a gap in the atoll, where it almost looks as though two dragons sort of got thrown together and sort of there are two skeletons sort of making almost an embankment on one side, which has left a void on the other, the way that the current flows around them, leaving a channel that would make it possible to navigate into the center of the atoll. Not easily, but certainly better than the current course you're on.
Out at least. Unsure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but he'll at least point it out.
It is an option. Just to give you a little bit of surroundings, there's sort of this giant atoll in front of you up against the shore. It's taking over the shore as well. Where this river outflows, big-sized river like the Amazon, this fresh water passes through. It doesn't seem that this corruption has passed to the other side of it. And there's a short spit of land to the west. But I will say, Duran, the biggest thing you get on your perception roll is the tug on your talisman toward the center of this atoll.
Yeah. I guess Duran would just kind of like look over at everyone and just say, we need to go further in.
As Queda is kind of like getting a sense of like the stuff that is unnatural, just to make certain, I think she would maybe can she do a survival check just to make sure that it's not like some, I don't know how far along medicine is at this moment, but like it's not some kind of like crazy like unknown fungus or something like that. That is like,
you can certainly try.
Anything.
I would say that's more of a medicine check than it would be for a survival check.
That's fine. I'll go medicine.
You said we were like half a mile to a quarter of a mile out from the center?
from the perimeter of the atoll. So the atoll is probably.
We're not even we need to get into the
You are-
atoll, and then we need to go further from there.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, it's a donut. You are outside the donut right now. You're getting pulled towards the center of the donut.
It's fine. It's all fine.
Without getting closer, it's tough to tell, but you can certainly go take samples if you'd like.
Okay.
Kato wouldn't stop you. Like, if you want to, Kato would help you in this regard, but Kato's not going to go down there and get them himself.
Yeah, I think Queta's main concern was just seeing if there was a way that they could safely cross this without some terrible stuff happening to their boat, and God forbid any of the people who also stepped into that area.
The rest of the crew is definitely unnerved. There still is a resolve in Biriana's eyes, but the rest of the crew seems to be just sort of in a stunned silence around this. I wouldn't say it's Uncanny Valley territory. This is just wrong. It's bad. What would y'all like to do? How would you like to proceed? There's some options in front of you.
So speaking of Biriana, what is she doing at this point? Is she driving on towards a particular course?
She's looking at the two of y'all.
Okay.
Y'all are the navigators. Don't look at me. You tell me which way to go.
How much, so is there an actual, path even along the surface of the water towards
Yes.
the atoll?
Baldir was able to see a channel that broke through the donut. With his 22 perception roll, was able to point out it is over to the east of where you are now, the river outlet being to the west. And then you could also just try to power through straight ahead if you really wanted to.
Or we need not take the boat. From some of the people that have sailed with Halron before, they may catch the reference to the water walk spell, but otherwise he'll explain that we could also just moor out here and go in on foot.
That is an option.
I'm not entirely sure that I would like to walk on this. Nor am I sure if it's safe.
If it's not safe for us, perhaps it's not safe for the boat. I'd rather have somewhere to retreat to.
I mean, Kato just keeps seeing these things. Boats are technically capable of moving around sharks. I wouldn't not assume that we would be all right.
I don't think there are any sharks in these waters.
Listen, I don't know what to call all of this.
Halred, with your 21 as sort of the question about sharks, and mentally you're like, well, yeah. You look down, and sort of under this slurry that just coats the entire sea surface, you do see sort of a slithering motion underneath of it, as though very large, eel-like, snake-like something is sort of disturbing that coating of inch-thick slurry on the thing, on the top of the water. Slurry's off.
I'll nudge Baldir and whomever's on the other side and gesture, and then quietly retract the water walk idea.
Assuming that we could get to land and I could rest, we could potentially fly there.
Let me check something. I might actually have something. Hold on.
Yeah, me too. I'm checking some stuff.
I have the ability to make up to 3 people fly. I can cast it 4 times technically.
I think I have like a group of 6 or more. Let me check.
Biriana chimes in that she is able to, would be able to help some people fly as well. She, remind me, at 3rd level, because it's through her violin, so I think it's just one person.
Third level is 1 person.
Yeah. She has higher spell slots, but this is through her violin, which is only it's only cast at 3rd level.
Yeah.
Well, Otrek can cast Fly on himself. And I also have, if we want to get exciting, I do have Enlarge/Reduce and Catapult.
No, thank you! Absolutely not!
So
Yeet, the spell combo.
Biriana chimes in and goes, well, I can fly you for 10 minutes, but I don't know how far 10 minutes is going to get you.
Oh, let's do some math.
There's potentially some narrow spots to the reef where you could fly across. You are then basically in the water or walking on the water once in the center of the atoll, once you're inside the donut.
How far out are we from the center?
You're about, like I said, about a quarter mile out from the outside of the donut. You're probably a half mile to 3/4 of a mile, maybe 2/3 of a mile to what would be the dead center of sort of this atoll. I mean, it's sea-sized distances. I mean, the ship would be able to fit in there and turn around. I mean, it's a fairly large atoll.
So, being another engineer, casting Fly for 10 minutes at 120 feet per round, assuming we dashed, would get us to over 2 miles of travel within 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's close to 3, just napkin math.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But we also have to avoid those giant blades swinging around, right?
We could fly over them? Maybe?
You don't know if something's going to attack us while we're in the air, though.
But yeah, that's the other thing, is that like flying through the air is not without perils for anybody that watched Squall's last set of campaign interactions with Fly.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
There was a way we could like sail like around on like a side path, right?
So, I mean, you could, like I said, there is a channel to, basically there's a break in the donut for you to sail through, that the ship would fill through to get through the center of the donut. Or if you wanted to avoid the donut entirely, you could sail upstream of the river and potentially approach the atoll from land. That's kind of, all of you all have lots of perception, lots of navigation. I mean, those are sort of the two obvious options. Now, there are also creative things like water walking it, like you could certainly do flying it. You could fly over the entire thing and then walk in from land to try to keep the ship. But as far as sailing wise, it would be either to sail through the break in the donut that was spotted by a bird to the east, or upriver, against current, but upriver to the west, if you wanted to take the boat closer and not anchor it here, which you're welcome to do as well.
Land-wise, is there any corruption? You said
yes.
There wasn't. Oh,
it has taken over the shore,
okay,
and spread across up into the trees and into the forest beyond.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I am not about that. Taking a longer path through more corruption, I'll pass on that.
So I've got wind walk for up to 10 willing creatures.
Oh.
Duration is 8 hours.
We could just box mocking on this?
To say that's Keyleth spell, if I recall.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
I thought, or is that cloud something? I always forget.
What?
What windwalk is.
Windwalk,
Oh,
you
windwalk.
and up to 10 willing creatures can see within range assume a gaseous form for the duration,
Yeah, it's
appearing
the
in wisps
gaseous
of
one.
clouds.
Yeah,
That's the keyless thing.
it's the
The
keyless spell.
creature has the flying speed of 300 feet, resistant to damage from non-magical.
No, absolutely. Again, flying is, and that's the thing is at that point you are resistance to non-magical type weapons.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think we could in theory like sail to like where that channel opens and then just wind walk across. This way we don't have to go through any of like the corrupted stuff on the water and any of the corrupted stuff on the land. We can keep to a minimum, if I'm understanding it.
Just to be clear, the center of the donut is filled with the slurry as well. Yeah, I mean it's
well, that's like the unavoidable part of the slurry that we have to hit, but everything else is.
Yeah, just so you didn't think that suddenly it was clear water once you were in this inside.
Yeah, I was operating under the assumption that like once we hit the inside, we have to deal with something in one way or another because that's where we're being dragged to anyway. So some shit is gonna happen, but like we can avoid all or most of the other difficulties by moving to a safe route and then avoiding any contact with the water, which is full of things that would like to make lunch out of us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about it.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else has thoughts.
It sounds like our best option, but it's not making me happy.
Well, the corrupted sea stuff doesn't make me happy, but I don't know that we can avoid that.
If you're all feeling lucky, we could always try and punch out whatever giant thing is swimming in the ocean.
There seems to be many of them. I got a lot of punching, but I will get tired.
I got 2 hands. But yeah, I think that sailing to the channel opening and then wind walking over.
So I do suppose, is there a chance that we would be able to just move the water with all of our combined water moving abilities?
It's a lot of water.
I was gonna say, isn't it like 10 or 20 cubic feet at most? I mean, this is.
Like once we get to the once we get into the donut.
Oh,
slurry.
certainly to at least give you a so you're not having to like dive into slurry. That might be a good idea.
I can move a lot of water once very quickly.
It's 100 square. No. I'm sorry. It's more than that. It's a cube 100 feet on a side.
Yeah.
Which
What?
is.
That's
Control water, yeah.
Is a million
in ocean terms.
square feet of water.
Yeah.
I think we're also forgetting the fact that we're going to need to be able to get back. I can windwalk us there, but I cannot windwalk us back. So perhaps we can windwalk and then fly. And at least at this point, we will be flying back to the ship where we might be able to have reinforcements and the ballistas. And if something does plan on chasing us.
We should also probably anchor the ship somewhere safe if we're gonna just leave it.
Where
I
around us is anything safe?
In a pinch, I can get us to fly back.
We might be pinching.
I assumed as much.
So what's the plan?
Then we sail the ship to the
channel
inlet and then fly from there.
Okay.
Yeah, or the windwalk, I think.
Yes,
Right,
windwalk. Yes.
So
Yeah.
Biriana will set course then, and she tacks the ship around and moves it around to the eastern side, to where Baldir has pointed out the channel. She keeps a relatively okay distance. There are lots of outcroppings here. There are lots of protrusions from this, but in pseudo clear water, no worse water than you were currently in when the sun rose and anchors the ship. So she does look at all of you and goes, so, actually, let's just do this above table. Y'all have an option. You can bring Biriana with you, but that means you've got a 5 level 7, 6 or 7 people to defend the ship. If, some dice rolls might occur about other things. Or you can leave Biriana, a level 14 bard, to hold down the ship. It's whether that's up to you entirely.
I say she stays.
I think she should stay too.
Captain stays with the ship.
Yeah, we're 6 level 11 characters. I think we're gonna be good.
Okay. So
Don't jinx us.
she
Not gonna-
Just Biriana stays with the ship.
Yep. Biriana looks at you and goes, I think it's best I make sure there's something to come back to. I'll stay here with the crew to make sure whatever else this forsaken place might throw at us, at least you'll have someplace floating to come back.
I'll keep them safe, Captain.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
I said I'll keep them safe,
Yes.
Captain.
Do try. So, you all going to gather around and cast Windwalk?
Yeah, I suppose that's what's gonna happen if Kato is up for it.
So there's a thing about Windwalk. Before we do this, I wanted to make our plan because we can't really communicate when we're in gaseous form, except Durod, who is telepathic. Are we landing on solid ground and then traveling into the atoll, or are we landing in the fetid water and then seeing what it is?
I don't want tetanus. So if we can land on ground and then play with the water separately, that'd be great.
Define ground. This atoll is all coral with the spines and the mouths and the oozes, etc.
So then, no, we should probably land on water.
So then you're talking about ground. I mean, ground would be all the way on the shore, which you could certainly do, with the beach. But that, again, still has sort of been taken over by this coral and stuff. Landing in water, absolutely doable. It takes you 1 minute to transform back, and you can't cast a spell. So you're going to come to, you're going to refer to human form in the slurry. Just letting you know, because you can't cast a spell until you actually are back out of cloud form.
Corporeal, yeah.
If we cast Water Walk, then Wind Walk, can I concentrate in gaseous form when we land on the water?
I'll allow it. I think that's clever, and I'll allow it so that you would be able to
Thank you.
land on top of the water. It's standing there.
That's an option then.
I will be right back. I'm trying to fix this issue. Requires a reboot real quick.
Okie dokie. Tell you what, let's take our break then. While we get ready for this, we'll let you do a reboot, and we'll be back in just a moment, folks. Hey, folks, and we're back as...
You're muted.
Thank you. Hey, folks, and we're back as the party has come up with a plan to traverse to this mysterious corrupted reef, this atoll of living awful coral and spines and feeding mouths on this slurry of sea life that has been churned into basically a coating of chum across square miles of the sea that this reef has been creating and then feeding on. So, you all are gathered on the deck. Biriana has said she's going to stay with the ship, as you all had decided. Any last look to or words to the crew or anything along those lines before you cast your spells and are on your way?
Stay safe, y'all.
Okay.
Queta would just make sure she has like most of her like miscellaneous items on her person for this, just to make sure that she has them in case they end up being useful. So things like the ion stone, the boat token, the rope of climbing, all those things. She just makes sure that's all where they need to be before she's ready to go.
I don't think that Duron would say this out loud, but he would say to Biriana right as the spell is being cast, "I'm sorry, this trip is not what you expected."
Kato.
Can we designate the ship as a sanctuary?
Ooh, how long does it take to create it as a sanctuary?
It just says casting time is 1 action.
Oh, well then yeah.
I'm gonna throw this in. Sorry, I just saw the spell.
Yeah.
It's a 6th level, a word of recall.
Yep.
That could get us back.
Brilliant.
Sick.
Wow, clutch. Absolutely clutch.
I will actually, because it's supposed to be like a temple or something to your deity. However, since your deity is knowledge, the whale's whisker basically has been its whole pursuit. So I am fine, with the idea of the stone chalice. Or, I'm sorry, you had an idea, and I spoke right over top of you.
No, you're super good. Do I need to nix that message that I just sent you, and we use that as the focal point?
I think that would fit better. Yes.
Okay, so then I will leave. Kato will leave his belongings here, and he will use one of his belongings as a focal point. That is his connection to the stone chalice.
Yep. Nope. Thank you. I think that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Perfect balance. So.
Sorry.
No, I'm just looking around. Looks like everyone's ready to go. So, Halron, you can cast Water Walk. So go ahead and mark off that spell slot. Yeah, it definitely was
Kato
a bathtub.
was doing it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Whoever was doing Water Walk, and then whoever's doing... I'm sorry, Wind Walk and Water Walk. We're doing both. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, as you feel familiar Water Walk spell, there then becomes... Tell you what, actually, yes, let's cast it. Tell me a little bit, Kato, how this Wind Walk spell manifests, turning everyone into these cloud forms.
Kato takes a bead off of a necklace that was hidden under one of the many scarves that he wears and plucks the bead off, and from there he crushes it between his claws and one by one blows a little bit into the face of everyone that is going through. And as they inhale, since this crew is pretty used to inhaling other substances, their body starts to almost dematerialize in the sense that it begins to become more incorporeal and shrink down to that gaseous form when we are all just various clouds. And from there, Kato will sprinkle the rest on him and will dematerialize himself.
Okay. So we'll say this was discussed. I know you can't talk while you're in cloud form. Where are you planning on landing? Like, what is your path? How are you planning on actually traversing to your final destination? And is there a marching order? Actually, there should be a marching order. Give me a marching order. Who's leading this charge?
The puffing order.
The
clouds.
cloudly order.
Does my amulet still pull me in a direction while I'm in cloud form?
Yes, because I will say that's. I mean, it's a magical thing, so it's.
Then I probably take the lead.
Duran up front.
I don't like it.
I'll be right behind him.
I've got those shield spells, so we're all good.
Halran is next.
Quetta will be flanking behind them as well.
Quetta. Who wants to take up the rear?
Baldir can take up the rear. If he's in control of the winds at all in this gaseous form, he can just kind of like see where Duran and the others are like leaning to.
I was gonna say, see, is it's not a combat action or anything. It's sort of just an inherent thing. So I would say yes. So that could come into play if you. I'll probably have you do me a Constitution. I'll have you do one if we need it for keeping concentration on it. Then Kuma and Sol just sort of there side by side. Kato and Sol.
And Otrek.
Kato and Otrek. Good lord.
It's a day, man. It's a day.
Okay, so Baldir in the back, then Kato and Otrek. Got it. Okay. So your gaseous forms lift off. At this level, you all probably all been under the fly spell enough that it's not difficult to control your movements, but I still do want a path of how are you all proceeding and where exactly are you planning on landing?
There was a channel that led straight into like the center, right?
You can just follow along the channel.
It's a little convenient that I can also communicate telepathically to everyone. As soon as it starts pulling me downward, I'm going to keep going until it's almost like, at a 60-degree angle almost downward, and then I'm going to say, we're going down to everyone in turn. But otherwise, yeah, following that channel, I think is the best.
So just sort of straight through.
Well, I would imagine that we're going up and over to avoid the spiny nasties that you described to us, because I don't want any part of that. Okay. Personally.
Great. So you sort of all of you lift up off the deck, going higher, getting yourself some clearance before moving forward towards the center, towards this pool that Duran has from his necklace. And as you do, have everyone roll me stealth checks with advantage because you're clouds.
I'm so
18.
sorry.
1, 2,
24.
16.
8.
And 20.
Whoa!
Nice.
Well, I guess I'm bait. That's great.
So, as you fly sort of up and over, Baldir, Hallran, with your perceptions, and from the back specifically, Baldir, you can see some of this sort of ripple go through these spines as some of you go past, and as Otrek passes by, sort of right there in front of you, you see some of these spines like sort of gather and twist and turn and follow Otrek's path through. Otrek, I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw. I need Baldir to make me a constitution check to see your concentration, because it might give our buddy Otrek advantage.
If I notice this, I'd also like to use my reaction to give so you get an extra d6 to the roll.
Okay. I'll give you advantage with the 15 constitution save. That means Baldir's actually using the wind to help you as he's right in front of you and saw this. So 12, roll me that d6 from Hallran. Oh.
No luck. Not a bit of it.
So, Otrek, Baldir, you see this as it happens. You see one of these spines. You think that it's moved in a different direction, but it's actually recoiled in. And then, like a spear, a javelin comes shooting out towards Otrek. I don't know how we do armor class when you're in a cloud form. Let's just use... do you have magical armor? Yes, you do. You're an artificer. You've got magical armor on, correct?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, then let's... what is your armor class?
16.
16. So, a 17. This passes through you.
Ow.
Assuming this isn't a non-magical, or assuming this is a non-magical weapon, he will have resistance.
You take a full 16 points of damage.
That
As
figures.
this aberrant spine, whatever has created it, apparently has imbued it with some internal magic.
Cool.
And you take 16 points of piercing damage as it flies through your cloud-like form. The rest of you continue to move onwards out into the center of the atoll, traveling along further and further. Basically, all you can do is dash, I believe, in this mode and keep moving. And Duran, as you said, you do begin to feel that tug becoming more and more below you, almost at the dead center of this atoll. You can begin to descend if you'd like, or whatever you would like to do and communicate. A thick slurry still covers the enter of this atoll. This sort of central area of the atoll, it doesn't seem like much current gets in here, so it's almost become stagnant and thick. And you can see, whereas before the surface was still undulating like the surface of the water out in the ocean, here there's actually seems like there's like mounds of this detritus and viscera and everything else that is within here. Maybe pieces that didn't get cut into such a fine soup.
So, I'm sorry. So Duran will say to everyone, in turn, "Let me go first, and if everything goes to plan, then follow after me. and he will land on the water and start turning back into corporeal form. Solo style, since I'm fairly confident in Duron's abilities of escape.
Okay. This sort of cloud-like form, you are hovering just above the surface, estimating where your sort of feet would be as 15 seconds pass. A minute.
Is there any change below me as this time passes? Nothing's gathering around me, like, waiting for me to appear.
Roll a perception check.
Oh, why? Somebody would...
Be glad I'm letting you roll. I could have just taken that you have a 10.
That's true. I would say, why can't anybody help me? But nobody else can speak to me. Well, that's an 8 plus 3, 11.
Looks great, man.
Great. Okay, sure. It's what I see.
Other than just being kind of like...
It's nasty.
Nasty.
Yeah. We're fine. Everything's fine.
45 seconds. A minute passes. You feel weight come to your body and you're standing there. This liquid is semi-solid liquid, so it does come up to about your ankles before you're truly like on watery water, because there's some of the chunks and other stuff. So, but you are being held upon the surface. You feel that weird undulation you kind of get, almost like sea legs, but a little bit amplified as you stand there. And again, as your nostrils and nose reform, the stench here is just 10 times what it was back on the ship.
I'll cast Control Water and push the chum, I don't know what else to call it, away from
slurry
us.
Chum, yeah. So yeah, you cast it, mark off your spell slot, and
yep,
it starts to push away. And below you, you're sort of expecting to see that familiar color of the Cerulean Sea, but it is this deep blackish green color, sort of almost like a watery ink, full of, normally I'd say tannins like you get in a swamp, but it's not that sort of natural look of tannins and dark sort of coffee color. It has this sort of like pea soup green type color, the water. There is some clarity to it, but certainly Duron would know vision would not be as expected if you were to swim through this morass.
Lovely. Question.
Yes.
This has been playing off in the back of my mind for ever since you first mentioned it. Are there any dragon scales in the water?
With that perception roll, you don't know.
Okay, fair enough. Not the person to go looking for things. All right. Well, seems safe.
I will.
I see you out there.
I'll come down and.
Oh. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I'll come down and resume humanoid form.
Okay. How about the rest of y'all?
From where we're floating, and now that the water is parted, can we see down if there's any notable objects, say the sky shark?
Yeah, no, like I said, it is this sort of dark green. It's like, it'd be like a really, not as thick as pea soup, but think of a really, 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 really super strong green tea. And it's got lots of sort of floaties and other things in it, but sort of has this sickly green color to it. Nothing like the clearness that you're used to with the Cerulean Sea.
To get a closer look, I guess Quaida would also go down and go back into dwarvish form.
I want to try something.
Okay, while the rest of them are taking their minute to reform. Is everyone reforming?
Oh yeah.
I want to use shape water to clarify the water below us.
Ooh, okay. I want to see. I saw a face.
It is not a concentration check, or it's not concentration to do that, so I can do it while I have control water going.
Okay.
It's only a 5-foot cube, though. Oh, it's only a 5-foot cube, so maybe only the
Bloop.
We'll see. We'll see how good it is.
It's like putting a glass into putting a glass jar into a swamp. Yeah. It's a green cube.
Great.
I saw Kato making a face. Are you a gas or are you a solid?
He is very specifically going to make sure that he is the last gas.
Huh?
And even then, he's probably gonna hover a little bit, waffle
Gets a
around.
look from Duron like, we're waiting.
All right, he starts to reform.
Okay. So here you stand at the center of this corruption and reef all the way around you. It's almost like a citadel of these spines. And as you're in there, you've noticed, especially now that you've reformed, many of those spines are starting to pull in, almost making a dome-like roof above you, these black-bladed spines, some 20, 30 feet long. Now, they're still, again, this is a big space that you're in. So, from what you've seen, whether you're in range of one of them shooting, you don't know, but the reef is aware that you have arrived. Or seems to be.
If we could hurry, that would be amazing.
I
Or-
agree.
Quaida tells everyone, stay close. And she casts warding wind around them. So, for the area, it would be the area basically immediately around her.
Yep.
Everyone who's still in gaseous form should probably not be standing in it, be floating around that space. But otherwise,
Might have been the final straw for Kato. Yeah. Duron, you feel the tug basically directly below your feet, but roll me another perception check. I'll give you another chance.
Thanks. Appreciate it. All right, let's go. Ah, it's the same roll. It's an 8.
Can I can't do anything about this particular moment, but can I go ahead and bless everyone now?
Sure. You can cast
We
bless.
can't say I preemptively
Guidance
did
on
it.
me or something?
I can give you some guidance.
Yeah,
too,
at this
that's fine.
moment, I'll say that it's a little too late for that roll. But,
Yeah.
So yeah, you're just feeling the amulet pulling you downward.
So I think we should dive down. There's no sense in waiting.
I will
Oh
Freeze?
no!
down and then cast water breathing on everybody.
Okay, we got the water breathing part. You broke up for just a second, but we got water breathing. So yes, you.
So everyone is blessed. Everybody's got to bless. I didn't prep guidance. I apologize. But everybody's got to bless.
Nice.
It's a cantrip.
Yeah. So D4s
Oh, right.
for saves and attack rolls.
so you're all planning on diving down into the water? Is that
It's what we gotta do.
In that case, Queta is actually going to try something a little bit novel. She is going to take. Let me look at my inventory real quick. She is going to take something. The silk rope that she has and tie it to the rope of climbing that she has, just to extend them both.
Okay.
And then whoever is going to be like diving down the furthest, how would this work? She's going to try and tie the silk end of it around them so she can hold on to the rope of climbing. She says, I will be here to pull you up if things get out of hand.
You're not coming with us.
Queta looks around and says, so someone needs to be able to pull you out of there in an emergency. But if the emergency is down there, I can always follow you.
While I see the appeal, I am unsure if that is the best idea. At that point, we would be leaving only one target for all of those.
I think that splitting up is a bad idea.
Queta looks up at the spines, I guess, closing in, and she just kind of continues to let the wind blow around her. She says, I think I'll be able to handle this.
Again, with our high passive perception, I believe it's Baldir and Halron who both have a 16 or higher. Does anyone else have a 16 or higher? I have it written down somewhere. I just can't find it. Y'all can roll me perception checks.
I have a 16 in passive investigation, but not.
What are you talking about? Everything is great and fine. There's something going on around us.
This isn't hands-on. This is more situational awareness. On our 22s, certainly, Queta, you are seeing, judging the range of the spines, and I've got a pretty good bead on it. You're feeling pretty confident about the spines, especially because Halran saw them before, and Baldir just having perception all over the place. You're looking at the water, and even where that slurry's been pushed back, you're seeing those eel-like snaky shapes slithering out there, beginning to school sort of around the perimeter of where the slurry has been and the control water has been pushed back. Potentially other threats than those from the range.
Why do you know that?
Again, your option. Just letting you know. There's lots of stuff here. Whatever y'all want to do.
Queta, are you afraid of the water?
I don't, not particularly. I suppose, as far as I can see, everything around it is cause for alarm.
Then perhaps we ought to stick together. We can grab the shard and be gone quickly that way.
That is a good point. I will not be able to instantaneously teleport us back if we do not have you with us. I would feel much more comfortable if I were able to whisk us away to a bit of a safer spot, hopefully, should anything arise. If you weren't with us.
All right. Taking that into account, because Quaid had not been thinking of that, she will change her tune, but she will probably still keep warding wind up because I think it'll still be. Yep. She thinks it'll still be useful to have on them.
Yep. So, you all can dispel water walk off yourselves, or I think how people have dealt with this before is you can basically choose for it not to work. You don't have to just spell it off yourself. So if you decide to re-engage it, it basically becomes like pulling the ripcord and brings you back to the surface. I think it's like at a dash speed, so like at type idea to make you pop back up to the surface. That's how we're gonna rule it on this, so we don't have to keep casting and uncasting. Boy, why did I say that?
It does say 60 feet per round, actually, in the spell description when you start going up. Yeah.
Cool. So, man, I could have burned up some of your spell slots. Darn it. Well, anyway.
I think in that case, Quaida will probably untie the extended rope she made, but she'll still keep the rope of climbing on hand.
Okay. So,
and she'll put away the other rope. But
same marching order as you dive.
Sure. Duron's up in front. This is a bad idea, but sure.
Quaida's actually going to move closer to the back, I think.
You're all but at the back next. I mean, you could just get behind Kato and Otrek if you'd like.
On the plus side, I can see in darkness perfectly. Whether that helps me see in this case, I don't know.
Let's find out.
Probably not.
So, you guys dive into this murky darkness. Within feet, it's not so much that it's dark, it's that it is obscured. All of this sort of detritus that is in the water is making it difficult, but you can, almost like in a heavy fog, sort of see the outlines of people. The sun does penetrate somewhat because the slurry above has been pushed out of the way. Kato, Baldir, Halran, you can sort of see around this perimeter, for whatever reasons, more and more of these eel-like shapes, 4, 5, 6, 10 feet long, sort of snake-like shapes, shadows that seem to be darting in and out of your vision as you dive down. 20 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet, still pulling you deeper and deeper. You do have water breathing, but it's like breathing in a really polluted city, out of the tailpipe of a bus. When you were trying to stay warm standing behind the bus back in school, because of all of this that is in the water. 70, 80, 90 feet, deeper, deeper. Suddenly, that sort of obscuring layer clears. And you see light below you, a dim cyan colored light, but it's not like a point source. It is all around you, all across the seafloor. You can't make it out, but it seems almost like an array. Some places very regular, other places where it's dark and then comes back in an array. What would y'all like to do? It's probably about, this array below you, probably at least 100, maybe 150 feet wide. It's hard to tell because you do get to the limits of just even your vision, even Duron's vision down here. But it's almost like seeing LEDs, sort of off in the distance. Do y'all stop? Do y'all keep diving deeper?
So the obscuring kind of layer is kind of...
Yep, it's almost like you're under the fog layer type idea. And you're now able to see... You can't see the bottom, but you can see below you more light actually penetrating from below up than from above and the sun down at this point. I mean, it's actually probably... Cloud there is a good idea. It's almost like looking down, not as dense as a city, but this weird sort of array on the ground, sort of in a circular type pattern again, except where it's broken in places.
Can Queta actually do an Arcana check on this array?
Sure. Anyone who's trained in Arcana could.
Oh. It's a 15.
So, we'll give this one to Otrek. It's the array that catches your eye. Certainly something, this cyan light from below doesn't seem like it is some type of phosphorescence or some type of a natural occurring thing. It definitely has that, maybe to Otrek, flavor of the arcane. But it's the array that really catches you, that this does not seem to be certainly of a normal, natural formation below you.
Okay.
Sort of like I said, it would be concentric rings if it were complete. Again, not much more detail than that at this point.
Otrek doesn't really have much to say or go on about that, but he notices that other people are kind of looking in the same direction.
Do I have any better sense of where I'm being pulled to now that we're deeper?
Roll me a perception check.
Dang it.
You do have guidance this time.
Well, no, if we're blessed, we don't have guidance, because they're both concentration.
Is it... I trust you on this one.
Oh, yep. Sorry.
They're both concentration.
Oh, it's true, we
I
did
promise.
Shoot, you're right.
Oh! Does a 17 succeed?
So, on a 17, it's odd. You feel...
Would it be less odd if I rolled a d4?
that you passed.
Okay.
The signal seems split. You feel something drawing you downward, but also something still at a downward angle, but off at about 60-degree angle to the north. I'm sorry, to the south.
Oh. There may be 2 of these shards here.
Oh, really?
I'll relay the information. There is one below us, and then another one, and I'll point whichever direction, 60 degrees north of us.
To the south.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, to the south. I messed up. Yeah.
South. Yeah.
Toward the land. It's still down.
Further, deeper.
So we don't see the bottom surface.
Nope, you still don't see the bottom.
Floor.
You just,
Okay.
I mean, you assume this array is on the bottom, but you don't know. There's an array probably 100 feet deeper down. You're about 100 feet in depth now. It'd be almost 100 feet deeper that you are kind of perceiving this dim hint of an array below.
I have no sense of the distance, do I?
No.
Okay. Worth a shot. I guess we go deeper. Which way do you want to go?
Can I interject? Can we speak, or is this telepathically?
With water breathing, I allow people to speak. Just otherwise, it just gets so weird. So
Okay.
yes, you can speak.
If we are going to go deeper into more dangerous territory, is there any argument if I go ahead and have Biriana begin sailing away from here? We do not know what danger we are going to come across. If we go ahead and separate ourselves, I will be able to teleport us back. The danger herein lies if something happens to me, or something happens to the item we are trying to teleport back to. But I feel if we're going to spend more time, this is a very peculiar decision we're having to make, and I would like to minimize risk and casualty where we can. I can send her a message now.
Queta's kept up her warding wind, so she would, if
Probably doesn't
If
work.
Kato's trying to-
doesn't work
Sorry.
underwater.
it doesn't work underwater.
I don't think a warding wind is going to work underwater.
Link
Link the spell into chat. I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, sure. Let me just. Bam. I mean, it doesn't say anything about not working, but if you don't want it to work, it's cool too.
Yeah, I think it's a little weird for a wind. Yeah, I'm gonna rule that warding wind is not working underneath down here.
Okay. Okay.
There's like these bubbles arising around you.
There.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
I guess in that case she'll dispel it so she can actually hear what Kato is saying. And I guess she'll just look around and see if there are any more of the threatening eels and stuff like closing in on them, because this is part of the reason she was flanking at the end of the group.
Do me a perception check.
Ah, great.
I feel your pain.
We have bless, right? So that's a D4.
Guidance is...
Yeah, it's checks. Checks aren't. It's only on saves.
Oh,
An 18. It doesn't seem as though the eels have followed you out of that sort of cloud layer, that fog layer up above. There seem to be hovering on the edge of it, but for whatever reason do not seem to be venturing into the clear water below.
okay. Queta will point that out, and she will say to Kato, I think actually that the whale's whiskers is potentially in the most danger right now, being so close to this murky area.
Which is why I feel we should send them away.
Queta will nod in agreement. So
I concur, but perhaps not so far that one or two of us can't travel back if, heavens forbid, we get separated.
So you send a message, you sending.
Yeah, I'm using I'm sending, so I'll mark a third level.
Okay. You can send her a message. How far off do you want her to go hold? A mile, 2 miles, 5 miles?
Because I do not know the topographical distance in that regard, I want to send her the amount of distance that still is within my teammate's request.
Okay, so yeah, we'll say.
So the edge of the edge of the
fly is basically what we come up with, 3 miles. So we can say that she moves
Yeah.
the ship 3 miles out from the center of the atoll.
Okay.
We'll play that by ear. So yeah, you just tell her, go ahead and pull off, get it back to clear water.
Yeah.
Which, that's about right. So. Forward or south? Or deeper, straight down or southward is where you're being pulled. Which direction?
I say we go deeper.
Yeah, we don't have any sense of how like far away these shards are from each other, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
as we get deeper, we will know which one is at the depths, and we can make another decision then.
You all swim downward. 20, 50, 75 feet, and beneath you, the floor of this sea begins to take shape. And you see a perfectly round crater below you, a dish that lies below you. It is unmissable that this battle that raged up above across the reefs also extended down here around this crater. You can see where what was probably once a smooth, almost glass-like surface has huge cracks out of it. There are chips out of the corners of it. There are huge claw marks. You do see a couple of these wyverns, skeletons that have sunken down on here, sort of cracked their spines across the lip of this crater. And where it hasn't been damaged, you see this array of glyphs. Sometimes 6, 7, 8 in a row on this sort of outermost concentric circle. As you get closer to the center, they become fewer and far between because of the cracks, just the sheer nature of the fact of the way that this crater has been damaged. Fewer of the ones closer to the center seem to have survived. And they all sort of glow with this dim light. You all are about 25 feet away.
Any idea what the glyphs mean?
You can take a look at them if you like. You can do an investigation check.
Oh,
Discernible language
great.
and things like that.
That'll be amazing.
Actually,
Somebody
anyone who would like to investigate these glyphs further, feel free to go ahead and roll. I will allow a investigation or an arcana check.
$19.
Okay.
Great rolls, guys.
So, as you look at these, Queda, Otrek, you see these glyphs, and they're like nothing you've seen before other than just the fact that they are obviously arcane in nature. The outer ring of them, very stylized, unreadable, but phenomenally complex in their structure. And as you move your eyes drifting across the glyphs, looking towards the center, almost unable to control them from being drawn towards the center, this piercing drone begins to ring in your head. As you take 13 points of psychic damage, as just the sheer immensity of the power behind these glyphs sort of drills into your brain. The rest of you, while Kada and Ortrek make it all the way to the center. The rest of you, your eyes stop, depending on your roll, just a couple rolls in, and you take the full 26 points of psychic damage as your brain is almost overloaded with the information. You're getting sucked into these glyphs, and they're almost like a Gordian knot or Celtic runes or fractal patterns. You just get almost pulled into these. The only thing that all of you recognize, as everyone got above a 16, they are somehow, in some way, based in an ancient, primitive, root form of Draconic.
Do you speak Draconic? Is there any like further looking I can do to figure out more, or is it just kind of
That's, I
gibberish
mean,
still?
I should actually say the people who speak Draconic realize and recognize that it is something. I'd even say other people, you can't read it, but you have that click of there is something of a dragon nature associated with them.
Duron's gonna drink a potion of superior healing.
Okay.
Because that hurt.
So that's the array. With all of you looking over this, and again, we'll use your Arcana rolls as investigation, or actually, Halran rolled investigation. A couple of you, actually, but the people who rolled investigation, your eyes make it past the runes and to the center. And there you see the best way for both of you, this is great. It's like the socket of a pulled tooth. Something was resting here at the center of this array, probably for a very long time, the way calcium and everything else has been drawn up around it. But it is no longer there, and whatever power was emanating from it just infused this entire area.
And just so I'm clear, we have to go deeper than where we are right now?
No, you no longer you're the
Oh.
pool. You are at where the downward pool came from, almost directly southward, maybe a little bit of a downward angle. And as you look that way, I'm not going to make you roll because will just be too sad if you fail it. And also, it's pretty obvious as you're sitting there. You see a huge sort of horizontal crack in the side of the crater that doesn't seem to just be a surface scar, that actually seems to be some sort of entrance to a cavern. It's only about 15 feet high, but probably about 40 feet long, sort of this long, narrow, horizontal, jagged crack that
it's like a
leads
fissure.
into darkness, like a fissure.
I guess we're going in.
Queta actually looks at the fissure and just pops a quick question to Duron. How big did Shimandala say the sky shard was?
He didn't, but I've seen it in my dreams. Do I have any idea how big that sky shard is?
Well, the socket.
Any amount of
I was gonna say this socket,
scale?
and the socket that's here in the center would probably it's probably about 4 feet across, and it does almost like a tooth. It kind of has a curved piece to it. I mean, you could see how some, curved piece of the sky might have fit down into this sort of empty socket.
It's big. But it's not bigger than the fissure, right?
No, 4 feet. It's only 4 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's whatever, 30 inches.
Gotcha.
Actually, that's 48. So I'll say, more like 30 inches probably.
Okay. It's this big.
He actually says that with the. Okay.
Moment of levity.
Queta actually thinks for a moment and considers, if you want to go into that cavern and investigate it, I suppose it wouldn't be a bad idea, but it's entirely possible. And she kind of just glances over the opening again. It's entirely possible that this is just a hole for containing something else, and perhaps what we're looking for. And she'll kind of look vaguely in the direction of where Duran pointed out, if he did point out, the other pole.
I was under the impression that I wasn't getting a second one anymore, and that the pool now is towards that fissure.
Yeah, the pool now is towards the fissure. I mean, there is
so he pointed into the fissure, like, this is where we need to go.
Yeah.
Like, my interpretation at this point is that, like, I guess I should say this in character. I believe that I'm getting 2 pulls. I believe the first one is a residual effect, and the second one is the shard in the fissure.
So now that we're over here, you don't have any other inkling on where that other pole is?
No.
I suppose investigating that cavern is our only plan of action then, isn't it?
Would appear so.
Joy is us. Are we ready then?
Okay. Same marching order?
Sure.
This is probably as you start to swim into this cavern, you move forward. Darkness lies ahead. Duran, with your sight, being able to penetrate it, you do see along the roof and sort of the edges where it comes down. Not really walls as much as they just sort of pinch together where the roof meets the floor. You do see, not nearly the size of the ones above, where sort of an underwater version of the spined coral. Short, sort of 2 to 3 foot long spines that stick up from the floor and out from the roof. Movement between them, whatever at this depth might live within them. So, do you all want to move carefully or at full speed as you move ahead?
I can move carefully and be at full speed compared to everybody else because my swim speed is 40 feet and I think everybody else is moving at half their movement.
Not me.
I was going to say, you got a couple people who have natural swim speeds. But, yeah, for folks who don't have a swim speed, it would be basically half your normal movement.
Uh,
Just real quick as a heads up, one of the things I did purchase were gloves of swimming and climbing. So Baldur is boosted a little bit just to
Sweet.
kind of keep up.
So then it's just
Duran, Baldir, all at a whatever that swim speed your abilities give you. Halran, Kato, and Queda at half your walking speed as you try to swim.
Quick question: how far ahead is this cavern?
From the center, like I said, this is about 120 feet across, this sort of dish, this crater type idea. So, like I said, you're about 60, 80 feet away until you really sort of get to the mouth of this crevice.
And then the spiny, jagged things. How far is that?
Inside the cavern, I mean, you still have probably around, let's call it 10 feet cube. It might be 10 feet high by 15 feet wide, sort of window. If you're playing the underwater level on a video game,
the one that everybody hates.
Funny you mentioned that.
Hypothetical here. If Queda has her rope of climbing, she can use basically like a bonus action to have it like secure around something. If she secures it around someone with like a natural swimming speed and she holds onto it as they swim, would she get their speed?
It would slow them down. It would slow them down to half their speed, which might be faster than your speed. Like for Ace, it would bring you up. If you're at 15, it would bring you up to 20, but it's not going to bring you all the way up to Duran's 40.
And I have an idea. So I have a bottle that I can uncork and fill the air, fill the surrounding air around us with smoke up to 120 feet. Would that obscure the waters around us enough to...
I would say it's like an ink cloud. It's the same idea as like a squid's ink cloud type idea. But remember, no one else can see through it either.
Right, but then we would just need to... I guess know... Oh, and then on top of that, could I then use shape water in front of me just to know that like the next 5 feet is good, the next 5 feet is good, the next 5 feet is good?
I mean, you would move slowly, but yes. I mean, you would basically be moving 5 feet around, which is, a sixth of your normal speed.
Right.
I also have shape water. Maybe we could, cycle it.
Like I said, you all can sprint through here, or you all can go, can go through slow and careful, or, obscure your path. There's lots of options here.
How do you want to do this, guys?
How do you want to do this?
I like the smoke idea, but saving that for
it's just going to slow us down too much, I think.
Yeah, I think we can just climb slowly through the coral as need be. And for my part, I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on myself to deal with the headache from those glyphs too.
Yeah.
I have an idea. I'm assuming Duran is the fastest swimmer at 40 feet per round. 80 feet per round if he has to dash. I can go even faster than that if I really need to. Why don't I just go in front? And then anything that's going to come after me, I'm more than capable of taking care of.
Okay.
And then everybody else can just...
Play the rogue, sort of scout a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Warlock as a rogue. Let's do it.
What would you like?
Rogue, bait, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like Queda to do that whole rope tying thing just so...
It's just going to slow me down. I'd rather go faster through it.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say in an emergency, she could try and just yank you out of there.
I have a way of just kind of teleporting around if I really need to.
Okay, that's fair. So if I'm understanding right, you're just going in on your own.
I'm gonna be bait and go in front of everyone,
Okay.
and then I won't go so far that nobody could see me. I don't know how far the light is from here, but like, I mean, I can see 120 feet. I'm guessing most people can see 60 feet. So I'll stay within that range and then just kind of.
I was gonna say some folks don't have dark vision, and once you get inside of here, you're out of the light of the glyphs. So there will.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the people that. I'm not as worried about the people that can't see as I am worried about the people who. I don't want to get Alex. Say I wouldn't want to get outside of Halgron's vision.
Okay. So is the party just moving Halron's vision 60 feet behind Duron, or are they staying at the front of the? I just want to see where people are. You staying at the front of this, and Duron's checking 60 feet, then coming back, or is it 60 feet, then everyone moves forward?
How far can I stay in contact with somebody? I think it's only 30. 30 feet. Everybody stays 30 feet behind me. How about that?
Okay. You all, Duron starts swimming in first, gets about 30 feet ahead. I gotta do it to you, buddy. Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Sure. We'll see how well we do. Oh, hey, it's my favorite number. That's another 8.
So with an 11, this is cake, man. You know, it's, for you, actually, truly, for Duron, it's cave diving. You've did plenty of it.
Not an 11, it's an actual 8. I have a +0 to my perception.
Sorry. So on an 8, it actually isn't too bad. You up around Zalia, and in these, you've gone through crystal caves before that were sharp, that you didn't want to get near the edges. And, after 30 feet, you move in. The rest of you follow in. Again, probably can't go as a group, so same sort of marching order: Halren, Cato, Otrick, Baldir, Queta. Or Baldir, because your swim speed, did you want to move forward in the line? Yep. So Otrek and Baldir sort of, again, as having swim speeds with sort of the slower swimmers taking up the rear.
Could we say that, like, knowing that they're a lot slower than I am, because they're keeping pace with these people who can't swim as fast, I, like, go forward a little bit, come back, go forward, do that
you
whole...
can do the scouting, sort of back and forth. So you all move forward for about 5 minutes, probably about 120 feet or so into the cave, this slow sort of thing. Up there, you sort of see, always going above you, below you, a few little weird maneuvers you have to make, sort of under a group that sticks down over another group, as these spines and the coral sort of thing. But they don't seem to be as active down here. Maybe not as much, whatever, sensory input to trigger them. You get, like I say, about 120 feet in. Duron, I need you to roll me a d6.
I don't wanna. A 3.
On a 3, as you're swimming by, with your perception of 8, you sort of, there's a little disturbance in the water, but you don't think much of it. You keep swimming forward. And all of you, sort of as you pass by a part of the cave, you feel this huge current pushing you all to the left. I need everyone to make me a dexterity saving throw.
Nice.
Are we still blessed?
How long does it last? Hour at least? Something along those lines? Or is it a minute or 10 minutes?
Up to 1 minute. So I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think
no.
so. Yeah, no.
So I would like to know if a 12 is a failure.
A 12 is a failure.
Okay. How about 18 instead for me then?
An 18. Actually, I'm sorry. Folks who have a natural swim speed, you can roll with advantage. I'm sorry. So the folks,
Oh.
so Baldir, Otrek, Duran all get advantage on that roll.
16 then, naturally.
Woo! Look at that. So, for those who don't, so Kato, Queta, and Halran, where'd you roll? There you are. You added 26. So just for Kato and Queta, you get sort of pushed to the left and sort of slammed into these spiked, sort of thorny corals, taking 9 points of piercing damage. And as you sort of pull yourself off of these corals, I assume you do, after being nicked by them, there is blood in the water.
Oh. I'm just swimming on ahead. Everything's fine.
Can I tell there is blood in the water?
Since it's your blood and it's your Kato, I would say yes. I'm not going to even make Kato roll that their blood, that he recognizes his own blood in the water.
Is there a way for me to tell that everyone's like? So who got hurt?
Yeah,
in
you
blood?
and Queta basically got sort of slammed into the wall, probably right next to each other, and sort of as you swim back out to the center into the clear sailing, you do see sort of this cloud of water, of blood, sort of lingering around the coral.
The water around me would not be considered a drink, would it?
Are you wanting to prestidigitate the blood out of the water, or what are you trying to do?
Yeah, I don't have prestidigitate, but I have purify food and drink within a 5 foot radius sphere.
I would say you can get some of it. I will take into account that you have cleaned up some of the blood in the water.
Is it obvious there's blood in the water, or is this like just only for the people who
I
are affected?
think since they are behind you, roll me a perception check. You can roll me a perception check to see if you caught what happened.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, with that.
No.
Yeah. As you were sort of catching yourself to not get pushed in there, you didn't notice that Queta and Kato got pushed into the side. You all continue to move forward. A little further. 60 feet, 100 feet. Roll me another d6 there, Ace.
Do I get to roll a perception check?
We'll see after...
Okay. That's a 2.
So, you do not. As this time the current comes from directly in front of you and pushes all of you backwards. You get pushed back. I need everyone to roll me a strength saving throw as you try to fight this current from pushing you backwards.
God.
Again, if you have a natural swim speed, you have advantage on this.
Well, I guess I'll take that 10. Oh, oh dear.
Oh, wow. Halran and Queta, you all succeed and are basically able to fight. Queta at the back. You see a large Luxodon sort of coming towards you as all of you sort of get pushed backwards. And Queta with a 20. Roll me an athletics check. Let's see if you can sort of help our friend Baldir from getting pushed too far and maybe into some of the blades himself.
Don't get too excited.
On a 13, unfortunately, you're unable to stop, sort of grab Baldir, and Baldir, you get bumped into some of these behind you for 14 points of piercing damage. This time, you definitely, as you're right there, and as your blood, see blood in the water.
Just real quick, just seeing a cloud of blood emerge around me, and probably understanding this happened to some other folks behind us. Baldir is going to manifest a tidal wave underneath the water, and just do what he can to push that blood like as far back and away as possible, just to kind of clear it out.
Yeah.
So it's a 3rd level spell. Basically, it'll send like a 30-foot rush of water, since we're already underwater, just to kind of clear that blood back away from where we are currently.
Great. No, absolutely. Your own blood and any remnants of blood behind you, you basically flush the toilet, just pushes all this out and away from you. So, you all continue forward another 100 feet or so into the cavern. Duran, I need you to roll me another d6.
Oh. That's a 6.
On a 6. Roll me that perception check for me.
Oh. Allie, please. It's a 5.
Oh, buddy. As you are swimming forward, the cave sort of widens out a little bit in front of you. This chasm widens out sort of into a large, sort of almost disc-like shape as you're moving forward. And that's when it hits you. Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
As a huge shark, unlike any you have ever seen before, bursts
Ouch.
out and takes a huge bite out of you, doing, yikes, 48 points of piercing damage.
I am real glad I drank that potion, y'all.
Yeah, I need all of y'all to roll initiative as this corruption shark comes swimming out from the sides. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get my timer up. 1 second.
I can't even roll well and roll 20.
You should be able to click on your tokens and do them. If you've already rolled, you don't have to re-roll. I will put them in there. Put their original one in. Just click on it. Go ahead and roll initiative again, and I will change it to your original initiative roll.
Mine's a 3.
Thank you very much. Call out what your original initiative was.
Thankfully, it's not a 9. It is actually a 20.
20.
Shoot.
And I'm at 22.
Mine is at 9, but I'm having trouble interacting with the tokens because of my mouse deciding not to do what it wants to.
Okay. Ooh, actually, yeah, we're getting some feedback from your mic as well.
Really?
Yeah, kind of like a static. Baldir,
Yep.
what was your original? Yep. Was it 10, I believe? Yep, thank you. Kato.
Originally a 20.
20.
A 3 for me.
Duran. Duran.
Oh, do you want me to click it again just to add me onto the list?
Yep, that'd be nice. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, if I get the same for the other folks, that would be great.
Hey guys, I'm at half health.
All around, what did you have?
Actually, I think I had an 18 originally, so we
Perfect.
are. Or no, I did 19, but yeah, it's fine.
Well, let's put you on 19. Let's get you right. Who am I missing here? Still.
I think that's
Okay,
everyone,
oh, Trek. I'm sorry. I know you need to. If you could just type in what your words, I'll put you in manually. Actually, I can see it. I got you. Actually, I don't have you. I'll need to get your roll here at some point.
Otrek was at a 9, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, folks.
Oh, what do you know? Almost everybody goes before the shark except me.
I thought you had a 20. No, what was your...
No, I had a 3.
A 3. I'm so sorry. Queta, you see this shark in front of you, this evil-looking beast. It is huge in size. It has this sort of red, orange, almost like a scab coloration to it. Jaws overextended, fangs coming out of it, sort of horns that pull back on its head. It is by no means anything from the natural world. It's awful. You just saw it come darting out of the sides and taking a huge bite out of your buddy Duran. What would you like to do?
How close is it to me now?
As you were in the very back, I would say that you are about 80 feet out at this point. So going by our turn order here, our slow swimmers, you all are probably about 80 feet out. Duran was all the way up front with this is my heads up combat. For those of you who haven't done this with me before, we don't get into a full map level battle. Basically, things are in close range, medium range, or far range, close range being melee. So the big thing here, like our slow swimmers, the people without a swim speed at this point, are going to be towards the back at long range, which basically puts you at 80 or 90 feet in this case. Our middle folks at middle range, so our Baldiers and our Otreks are going to be at about 40 feet out. Duran is front and center in melee range with this shark that, if I recall, with that bite attack...
I'm grappled.
You're grappled.
Yep. So he's just like snatched onto me, and I'm just getting like ragdolled, like
Yeah.
my puppy with his little bear toy.
Pretty much. And as... I need you to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. I'm not bad at those. But a 15?
Good to know.
Is that a success?
Good to know.
Go ahead and throw +4 on that from Flash of Genius.
19.
You can add another d6 if you feel so inclined.
20.
Nicely.
God, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't roll well to save my life.
Good to know.
Probably literally.
This is my life as a DM too. I can't roll above a 10 to save my life.
Okay, so Queta, you are at about, as I said, about 90 feet out. Your swim speed does have you at half speed for trying to swim forward, but you are 90 feet out from this shark that currently has Duran just grappled in its mouth, just ripping and shaking him after that critical bite attack. I am not right now, Otrek, if you're unmuted.
Since I can do a little less than nothing of use right now where I am, I think I'm just gonna have to take the dash action and swim in forward. So that's gonna put me at a whopping 25 feet of swimming speed.
Okay, so that brings you up to about 75 feet out. Is that right? Did I do my math right? Or 60 feet?
What is that, from 90 or 80?
From 90, yeah.
90? 65
90
feet.
ship 60.
65 feet, yep. So you're at 65 feet out.
It's dark in here, I assume, right?
It is actually there. If for those of you who do not have any sort of dark vision or light, you're basically blinded.
Okay.
It is considered darkness.
You know what? In that case, let's get a little wild with it. Queta's going to use a bonus action to cast Shadow Bleed.
Okay.
She can't do anything with it because it's not.
Yeah, but
the shark's not in range of even its long range attack, but she can at least have it set up.
So yes, this dark blade manifests in your hand. Next up, Kato.
Is this still considered a creature?
It's a creature. It is not a beast, if that's what you're asking.
Just need a creature.
Yeah, it is a creature.
I'm going to attempt. Am I within 60 feet?
You were in the back because you do not have a swim speed. So we said you would be at the 90 feet, the long range. You could. What's your normal walking speed?
30.
30. So yeah, you could only get 15 feet underwater, or 30 if you dash using your action.
Okay. I will move 15 feet closer.
Okay.
And
So you're 75 feet out.
Am I within 60 feet of Duran?
He's in the mouth, so no. You would be within 60 feet of Baldir and Halran.
Holding off. Because I really need to get Duran in this as well. Okay. I don't think that I can do what I wanted. I'm going to, even though it's a creature, it was once an animal, correct?
Yes.
I guess it's not a beast now, but it was once.
It's a monstrosity, so.
A monstrosity, okay. Okay, then that does not matter. All right, cool. I guess movement and...
I mean, do you
Can I
want to
hold
dash?
action?
You can hold an action, yeah, if you'd like. A spell or attack or something.
Yeah, I'm going to hold action for now, because I thought that I was closer.
Okay.
So I'm going to hold action, and then by the end, I'll come up with something.
Okay. Next up, Halran. You are about 40 feet out.
I will begin swimming towards the shark, but as I go, I transform into a longer and longer shape until eventually there's a giant barracuda weaving.
Using the new shape.
Yeah, thanks. Weaving its way through the water. And so in game terms, I transform and then move until I'm directly next to the shark and want to be as threatening as possible. Try to catch its attention.
So bonus action to wild shape, right? Or is it your action to wild shape? I forget.
Full action, yeah.
Full action. Yeah. So but with your, I believe, 120-foot swim speed on your Barracuda, because they can move. You get right up into melee with the corruption shark. Cool. Next up, it is the corruption shark.
Hit me. Yeah, I know it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, I still gotta follow the rules. I assume a 25 hits.
A 25 is... Yeah, I don't even think there's anything I can do about that.
There is the shield that you have stored.
Nope. Nope, that's not enough.
Not enough? That was
It
worth a
is
shot.
not enough.
I had faith in you. I believed.
So you take 25 points of piercing damage,
This fucker's gonna die.
and you all watch as Duron is swallowed and disappears down the maw of this shark.
Oh,
Well, that's a thing.
that's interesting.
You are blinded. You are restrained.
Uh-huh. It's fine.
And that is the Devil Shark's turn.
That changes what I'm gonna do, but
Oh, and actually, you took damage. I need you to make another Constitution saving throw. Since you are swallowed, it is at disadvantage.
what am I I'm not concentrating on anything.
Nope.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Goodness.
Well, hey, this disadvantage is gonna negate the only roll that I've had that's good, which is a 19. And it turns it into a 3.
For any of your adding stuff, he is not in sight. So if it's for something in sight, so with a 3, that's good to know.
That's good to know. That is bad to hear. I'm glad it's good to know because it's bad to hear.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
that is his turn. Baldir, you're 40 feet out with your.
Yeah, but I also don't have dark or low light vision, so tell me, am I able to even see what's going on?
It would be at disadvantage. I'd say you have, because your perception is so high, I will say you are certainly feeling this crazy amount of stirring in the water ahead. I saw, Cato, you raised your hand?
Yeah, can I take my turn to cast light?
Yes, absolutely. What
Okay.
are you
I can do
casting
that
it
if you
on?
didn't, so.
I'm going to take a
Like on yourself, on something in your possession?
in my possession, and I'm gonna kind of throw it out so that it can
Okay.
start heading towards.
Yeah, it's like
that,
zero
so people
gravity.
can-
So yeah, you sort of you throw this name an object, something that Cato would have, scissors, gauze,
Yep.
whatever.
Scissors.
Yeah. So these glowing scissors sort of start tumbling forward, through this cavern. So I will say that you do have some light to see what's happening, Baldir.
Okay. Even if I don't, I'll at least use part of my movement to get closer so I can see what's happening a little bit better.
Yep.
Probably gain some sort of weird understanding that.
You see sort of like Duron's leg go down this shark's throat.
All right. Well, here's the thing. A lot of Baldir's stuff is shocking, literally, and I'm not sure what touching a creature that has my buddy inside of him would do to Duron. So I'm gonna swing for the fences with something much more stupid. Could I get? How big is this shark?
This shark is huge, classified as huge. So it's like 15, 20 feet long type.
Can I get a strength saving throw from the shark?
Certainly. Okay, yeah. Yikes, that's a 9.
Baldir directs a hand towards this shark, and around it, it's like air being manipulated. It's the strength of that wind begins to circle this shark and like completely encapsulates it to a point where the shark is kind of locked into place as Baldir casts telekinesis.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
is basically going to lock the shark in place and try to use the power of telekinesis to kind of control the shark to be locked in place. And however you want to flavor it, he's basically going to try to like pry open his jaw with the telekinesis spell.
Absolutely.
Like just trying to give Duron an escape.
He rolled a natural 2. He has +7 to his strength, so he failed miserably on this.
Sure.
Maybe it's maybe it's Duron's scaly hide or whatever. But in trying to actually get Duron swallowed, you're able to just reach out with telekinesis and just pry its jaws open, just for dramatic sake. I was saying it was his leg sticking out. Let's have it be that he's swallowed feet first, so you sort of see Duron's face sort of like reaching and disappearing down the maw of this thing for drama.
All right. Well, if this happens and Baldir kind of can feel that shark is locked into place from all that movement around him, he's just gonna like kind of try to make eye contact with Duran and say like, "Don't have long." Like, this is truly not something that should have worked.
Sweet. Anything else you'd like to do?
I think that is it.
How close did you get to the shark? Just.
I probably got within 10 feet.
Okay, about 10 feet away. Good to know. Next up, Otrek, you're right up there. Since you have a natural swim speed and you have a fast natural swim speed, let's put you at 30 feet out. 30 feet from the shark.
I'm just looking over something real quick here.
No worries.
Restrained. What does restrained do?
Just as a heads up, he is restrained until the end of my next turn, and I can try to maintain that.
You have advantage on attacks against him, and his movement speed is 0, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it melee attacks or is it all attacks?
I think it's all attacks, but I
Okay.
could be wrong.
I pulled it up. It
Attack
says
rolls.
attacks against it have advantage.
Okay, great.
Well, we're going to make the most of that. I have a magical pistol that doesn't require ammo or gunpowder.
Yes, you do.
So let's get rocking. So first we're going to shoot it, and then we're going to shoot it again here in a moment.
Cool. Shoot it. Shoot her.
All right, that should have showed up over there.
27.
27 to hit.
Do you have advantage?
Yeah, because
that
of
was
restraint.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So you do.
And that hits, yeah?
Yep. 27,
Right.
absolutely. Yep.
So as that hits, we're going to channel energy through the shark and into my buddy Duran.
Cool.
We're going to use, if I can find it, Arcane Jolt.
Nice.
It's not much, buddy.
It's better than that. That's good.
And does it take 5 points as damage as well?
No.
Okay, it's just the jolt. Got it.
Yep, it just runs through. I can pick anyone within 30 feet of the target. Don't have to see him. I can either deal damage or I can heal. And we're going to use the gun again for the rest of my attack action here. Get it.
25 hits.
All right. Not much damage, but it's something.
Cool. Plus another 6.
So that was action, freebie. Do I have anything in a bonus action I can do? No. Did I cast a spell this turn? No. But I'm out of actions for that. So yeah, that's me. We're actually gonna close in on the shark as well.
Great. How close are you getting?
Call it 15 feet.
Okay. Cool. Next up, Duran, as you are being swallowed by this shark, you can sort of see where it had bit into you, those wounds across your body. And you take 10 points of piercing damage as you see these black spines begin to grow out of the wounds.
Lovely. Okay, that's a problem to deal with later. First things first, he's restrained?
He's restrained, you're restrained.
Well, he's restrained, but his mouth was pulled open, so can I swim out or no?
That's a really good question. I will give you... Since you have a swim speed, I'm sitting here, I did not consider this ruling. He's restrained, you're restrained, mouth is open. You know, it's a fish, you're a fish. We turned you around so you're head out for drama's sake. I want to see this scene. But you're gonna have to earn it.
I'm not chancing the earning it. If I have to earn it, I'm casting a spell to get out of here.
Well, because the thing is, see, you're actually restrained as well, which means your movement speed is 0.
Ah, yes. Okay, we'll skip all this.
Yeah.
Make it easy.
Yeah, both of you have.
I'm casting Misty Step.
Okay. Woof.
And just getting out of dodge, 30 feet back, swimming up to Kato, and being like, and then I'm going to Eldritch Blast him.
Okay.
The shark, not Kato, correct?
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I have
so yeah,
advantage.
you missed. Go ahead and roll that Eldritch Blast.
I used my feet to do that, by the way. So that's a 13 plus, I think I have 11, so that's a 24 to hit.
Okay. That hits.
I have a really Kato-specific question.
Okay.
The shark is restrained, correct?
Currently, yes.
The shark cannot move, correct?
Correct.
Sharks cannot breathe if they're not moving.
This is no longer a normal beast. But
So
that's
it
a
is...
great point. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, again,
It
remember
hit
this is a
me.
monstrosity. Yeah. Yeah, it's not
just
drowning,
want to make
unfortunately.
sure.
But yeah, had I not made it a corruption shark, had I made it like an actual just giant shark, I would have given it to you.
Oh no, dog, that's super good. I just
Yeah.
double checking.
And
19 points total damage.
Great.
I rolled another 13.
19 points. Okay.
Kill it, or I will.
So it takes another 19 points of damage.
No, it's just 19 total.
Okay, it takes
Yeah.
19 total points of damage. And you see it as the damage hits it. You see it, these weird sort of like reflexive ripples go down its body. Since it's being held by Baldir's telekinesis, nothing occurs from it. It's not able to move, but you can tell that there is some sort of reactionary trigger that is not able to respond to. And as we hit the top of the round and 11 o'clock, that is where we are going to end our session.
Goodness.
Let's go around real quick and meet our players and where we can find them and wrap this up. And we'll be back next time as this corruption shark battle has just begun. First up, we go backwards. First up, we have Soul.
Hey everybody, I'm Soul. I play Otrek, our lizard folk artificer. You can find me everywhere online at soulsrolls.com.
Cool. I'm just going to ask everyone to take a quick moment. I know we discussed it, and I can go back and check the video, but also just jot down somewhere where you were. I know some people were 10 feet away, 15 feet away, whatever type of stuff. I'll go back and check as well. Next up is Meta, and just send it to me like in the Discord.
Hi, I'm Metazoa. You can find me on Twitter, on Twitch, and on Instagram at Metazoa54321. I play Queda, the Eldritch Knight fighter, who is so far back. She's just so far back from everything. I write, I play music, I stream on occasion, and I'd like to get back in the world. But yeah, that's what I do. That's where you can find me. This is a lot of fun. Well, this specifically is stressful, but the game as a whole has been a lot of fun.
Cool. Next up, we have Ace.
Oh my god! Ace just realized that you have disadvantage on all of your attacks against me. Oh, damn it. But I'm Ace of Sween, who only just now remembered he has a Cloak of Displacement. And you can find me at Ace of Sween mostly chatting with Squall and Cullum and random political things on the internet.
Cool. Next up is Bird.
Hey folks, I'm Bird. You can find me everywhere at Bird versus Plane. Yeah. Till then, see you next week.
Sweet. Grant.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, I'm Grant. Thanks so much for watching tonight, and you can find me on Twitter as @Sock.
Cool. And last but not least, Kuma.
Hi, hello, yes. I am Kuma. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Kuma the Bronze, and I just kind of do a variety of things. And thank you for watching.
Thank you. And I'm Tall Squall. Hope you all enjoyed our session tonight, and we will be back at it next week with this combat and whatever lies ahead. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, gather your friends together and tell a story. Good night, everyone.